shutting the computer or shutting the laptop down, shutting the top of the laptop down. It's like she doesn't want to see anymore. What if it's her mom? We don't know. Her mom would have motive, you know. It could be anybody, but in my opinion, my suspicion has to lie with either Hermione or Ethel, and I can't remember who I just mentioned at the top of who it could be, but it makes sense. In my opinion, one of those two make the most sense, because one, why are you bringing Hiram in, being played by Marcus Wells for next season, if maybe there's not a, maybe if not maybe you're going to remove Hermione out of the picture. You know, there's got to be a reason for that. And then Ethel, of course, could be another suspect because maybe she felt rejected. We don't know. And again, oh yeah, Polly. Yeah, that's who I mentioned. You know, maybe Polly didn't want to go to the family and let the reveal of being pregnant be done. Maybe she became upset. Maybe she became angry. You know, that Jason was going to go through with the plan. And like I said, maybe she threatened to kill him if she did that. And that's that dark side of the Coopers coming out. Who knows? But I'll say this. Those are three main names that a lot of people have been bringing up lately. And from my theorization, for someone that didn't watch the show as much as he could have, but, you know, kept up with it thanks to reviews from people like Andre Meadows and Screen Junkies and AfterBuzz, and now people like Kelly Wilson and many others. I feel like I've watched it. I feel like I've watched the episodes in short format, if you will, in short review format. But I feel I've basically kept up enough to kind of give my own theorization, my own thoughts of who could have done it. And in my opinion, it's got to be those three. Now I did go on record one time during one of my after work, I believe it was either after work or during my lunch break, where I said there's also the possibility that they could hit us with a twist. And that twist is maybe that maybe the body that was discovered may have looked like Jason's, but it really wasn't Jason. Maybe it was some kind of John Doe that was identical in facial features and everything to Jason, that they were able to cover it up. Like maybe they used one of those wigs that we saw in this episode to put on the fake John Doe, on the identical John Doe, make it look like it was Jason. And the twist at the end is maybe Jason's still alive. Like maybe Jason, because this is what I've been theorizing in my head too. What if they end the last episode with a car driving up, Polly is, you know, leaving town, a call comes up to pick her up, a call pulls up to the side, basically that she hops in, that she opens the door to and hops in, she opens the door and hops into, and then we find out that the driver is Jason. And what if this whole Jason is dead thing is to, you know, basically keep people away from them, so they can go off and start their life anew away from it all. It would definitely, to me, it would really bring this season to a close. It would be a proper season finale ending, being the last scene, because it would be like just when you thought you knew it all of a sudden, here's the big twist at the end. So I can't really say if they'll do that, but I wouldn't put it past them. Now, a lot of people are wondering, could it be Molly Ringwald's character, Archie's mom? It's like she suddenly comes out of nowhere and everything, but I don't think it could be her, because why would they go that way? Why would they go that route? What does she have to gain? I mean, a lot of people are suspecting that she's connected to the Blossoms. Like maybe she's a relative, or maybe she's the sister of Cheryl's mom. We don't know. But we'll have to wait and find out. But I don't think they would bring Molly Ringwald in just to have her be arrested and taken off to prison because she's the killer. I don't think they would do that. So, again, there's many theories out there as to who it could be, but my top three, in my opinion, Polly, Hymeni, uh, my top three. What I'm trying to say here is Polly, Hymeni, and Ethel. Those are the three you got to look at. Now I know a lot of people will say, well, you look at the previews, it looks like it could be a guy that did it. Well, it could be, but then again, it could be the killer may have. But here's the thing: it may look like a male, and maybe there's a male conspiracy, a cohort, but it doesn't mean that the trigger was pulled by him. You know what I'm saying? So, and think about it this way: the way they're playing the Southside Serpents, and the way they're playing Forsyth, Jughead's dad, and Joaquin, they know more than they're letting on. And oh, by the way, who were they in connection with earlier on in the series? Who was paying them off a little bit? Veronica's mom, Hermione. So it would make sense if maybe they know something. Maybe she's paying them off because maybe they saw her do it. I'm just saying. And maybe they're there to take the blow. That's just my opinion. And here's another thing. A lot of people say, well, how did video footage get out of the murder? Who put it out there? You want any bet that it was either Joaquin or Forsyth that got that video leaked? Like if maybe something came down on them, they... Because think about this. Forsyth always seemed to be a step ahead of all the adults, like Alice and Hermione and several others. So what's to stop him from being like, okay, if something happens to us, if we take the fall, show the video. Release that video. Let them see who it really was. And that would definitely put someone like Hermione in the hot seat because, again, you look at the trailer, you look at Veronica's reaction. It makes sense. It comes together. And there's a reason, like I said, she would have to have a real motive. And that motive is, hey, I take out Jason Bosslom, I take out the next heir of the throne. That way, nobody nobody prevents or stops us from getting the land and regaining our empire as the richest, wealthiest, most powerful family in Riverdale, if not the country. So it would make sense. It comes full circle. But again, we'll have to wait till next week. But Veronica's reaction, it's got to be her mom right off the bat. So again, my top three. Polly, for the fact that maybe, she wanted to reveal the truth about her and Jason, the fact that she was pregnant and Jason didn't want to do it. And maybe he came up with a plan to go across the river and get his sister to help him. And she wasn't for it, and maybe something happened, like I said earlier. Or it's Hermione, because maybe she wants to, she's desperate to do anything it takes to get back, to, be back on, to get her family back on top as being the wealthiest, most powerful family around. And then, of course, Ethel, like I said, for possible reasons that I've mentioned. The fact that maybe she thought just after a few dates her and Jason were an item, and Jason broke it to her that they're not, and maybe she became obsessed. Saw that maybe Jason favored his sister over her, and that's what happened. And that's what resulted in it. We don't know. But those are my three suspects, my three theories as to why they could be. One of those three could be the killer. And, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But those three are my top suspects. Who knows that? But like I said, those three are my top suspects. And I also feel that knowing the way this show has been going, that I wouldn't be surprised, like I mentioned, if they go with the ending that I think they might go with, in my opinion. You know, you think, because like I said, we think it's Jason, but it's not. Maybe it's someone identical to him. Maybe they used one of the wigs to plant onto that identical John Doe. And in the end, the last scene we see in the last episode, which would be on the 11th of this month, of this upcoming month, is Polly hopping into, is a car pulling up to the side of the road to pick up Polly. She hops in and we see that the driver is Jason. And that this whole who done it deal was nothing more than a ploy to, get them away from it all. So that they can get away and, get away from it all and get away from this town and from these people. That's honestly what I think. I honestly think that's what could be. That's a possibility. Now that's a long shot, but I wouldn't put it past them. I really wouldn't. Now, as far as how the video came around, like I said, I think the way they portray Forsythe in this series is he's always a step ahead. So I believe, in my opinion, that pretty much he knew there's a possibility that the blame was going to be shifted on him. He was going to take the fall. That he was going to end up taking the fall. So he probably had Joaquin, get ready to, Joaquin and several of the serpents, release that video to the public to let them see who it really is. And that's what I think. That's what I think, in my opinion. And it makes sense because, like I said, he's always been portrayed as being maybe a little bit of a drunk at times, but always seemed smarter than he looked. Always seemed to be a step ahead. Very knowledgeable. Like he knew something was going to happen. He had a plan B. He had a backup plan just in case. Now, a lot of people are suspecting that maybe Sabrina planted the video. Maybe she was in the vicinity and she saw the murder and she videoed it. And maybe now she's leaking it out there because maybe she's hearing about what's going on, hearing about who's in jail and all that, and that's a possibility. That's a possibility too, because you can subtly introduce her into the series. Maybe not physically in person, but maybe by letter saying, who sent the video, who's the one that gave it to them. So, it's a possibility, but in my opinion, the reasons I put out there, my three suspects are Polly, Jaimini, and Ethel. Those are the three. And for the reasons that I've mentioned. The reasons I've mentioned are the reasons I believe they did. One of them is going to be revealed. I just got this feeling. A lot of people feel it could be a Bosslom. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's possible. Some people might think it's Cheryl. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, but I don't think so. It's going to be someone that, let's be honest, someone that from a comic standpoint hasn't really been a major character that much. Hermione has never been a major character. Polly has never been a major character. Ethel is semi-major, but not as major as a lot of people would think she is. So those would be the three suspects. And again, for the reasonings of Polly wanted to reveal the truth, Jason didn't want to have nothing to do with it, came up with another idea, basically took the decision out of her hands, and Polly, being sick and tired of being told what to do and being manipulated, like with her mom, decides to, take it out on Jason. Maybe like I said, maybe she threatens Jason that if he goes through with this plan and has his sister help him, she's going to kill him. And maybe she followed through on that. And it plays into that whole, Doc Cooper kind of personality that they have. And then, like I said, you take a look at Hermione as being a suspect. The fact that she knew Jason was probably going to be the heir to the throne, take him out of the equation, there is no real heir except for maybe Cheryl, and she pretty much feels that maybe Cheryl wouldn't be able to handle it. Thus by taking Jason out of the equation, it's just the next step to getting them back on top as the most powerful and richest and wealthiest family around. And then again, like I said with Ethel, her reasoning is maybe she thought after a few dates her and Jason were an item. Wasn't the case. She got upset about it, obsessive about it. She got upset, maybe felt betrayed, maybe felt like Jason was leaving her, breaking things off with her for his sister, and that could have led to that. So that's just my suspicion on it. That's just my thought on it. But those are my top 3 suspects and the reasonings as to why. And again, I wouldn't put it past the creators of Riverdale to add that twist to where maybe Jason, that the Jason they found isn't really Jason, and that the real Jason's still alive, and that at the end of the series or the end of the season, we see him picking up Polly in a car, and they drive off to who knows where to live peacefully without all the hectic and drama in Riverdale. Just leave that all behind. So I wouldn't put it past them to do that. But again, that's just my theory on who I think the 3 top suspects are, and why, and what the motivations could be. Let me know what you guys think. I do apologize for this going into 2 parts. I do apologize for that, but again, it just shows you the impact that Riverdale had on me, even though, as a viewer, even though I didn't get to watch the episodes as much as I could this season. Thank God for Netflix putting the series on their the streaming service within the next few weeks. But to me, honestly, this it just shows you how big, how good of a job they did with this show. That even though even people like me that want to watch it, that haven't been able to watch it, have gotten so so into it in a sense, thanks to people like Andre Meadows and Kelly Wilson, Screen Junkies, and AfterBuzz, and many others doing recaps and reviews and theories of their own. So I thank them very much. And again, I do apologize for this being in 2 parts, but I feel that I need to basically come out and give my own theory as to who I think, in my opinion, are the top 3 suspects and the motivations why, and why I feel that the wild card theory in all this could be that the Jason Bosslom that was shot and killed is not really Jason. So we'll just have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I'm out.